This is the plaintiff, Shahida Smith. She says she and the defendant used to be friends, but no more. The nasty woman locked her out of the house they shared. She put her stuff out on the street, and her very expensive chair, ottoman and love seat, and bed were ruined. So she's dragging her to court and suing her for the $3,000 she's owed. This is the defendant, Sarah Rothenberg. She says the plaintiff didn't pay all her rent. She was being forced out of the house by the landlord, and the plaintiff never moved her belongings out. She had no choice but to put her furniture on the street. It didn't rain the entire week. Nothing was ruined, and she owes this ingrate nothing. She's accused of tossing it all away.
All parties, please get your right hands. Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant locked her out of her house and then put her ottoman and love seat out in the street and ruined it. But the defendant says the plaintiff was a deadbeat. It's the case of Ottoman Empire.
Thank you, Douglas. Ms. Smith, you are suing your former landlord and friend, Ms. Rothenberg, for $3,000 that you say she owes you as a result of putting your stuff out.
Yes.
During your tenancy. Tell me what happened there.
Well, I was looking to move. I didn't really like where I was living at, which I felt uncomfortable. And at the time, we were really good friends.
Okay.
So then she was like, hey, I'm renting out the downstairs part of my house. Do you know someone who want to rent it? And I'm like, oh, I'll find someone. But I wound up being the person to rent the downstairs part of the house. So probably like
your rent was how much?
$700.
Okay.
And
how did it go at the beginning?
It was fine. It was fine at the beginning. It was really fine.
And then the first problem you had with her was when what happened?
The first altercation had to been the day that we put food on the grill, and this was literally, I can't even tell you the problem, but like I said, if she needed help putting food on the grill, closed mouths don't get fed, and if you need help, you can ask for help, which I don't know how to cook on a grill, so, I'm not gonna say, oh, let me put food on the grill. I don't know how to cook on a grill.
Okay, now how does that translate to she puts your stuff out? Because
that's
that's
the
beginning.
argument.
All right.
That was just the first one.
All right.
Then from there, stuff just wasn't never right. From that little situation, stuff just never was right. It was just always weird after that.
Okay, so let's get to when it starts to get really bad, which is by October. And do you pay the entire rent for October?
This is what she said, you can pay it weekly, or you can just pay the full $700.
When did she say that to you? Because what was happening?
Okay. Me and my boyfriend was leaving out the house one day, and she was like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? I'm like, yeah. So I go over, she was talking to him. She was like, we all have to be out by November 1st. This is probably like the beginning of October. And probably like
why did you have to be out by November 1st?
The lease was ending, Your Honor.
Okay, so you weren't being evicted?
No.
Did you pay the rent of October to the landlord?
Yes, I did.
Go ahead.
So I said, okay, I'll pay it weekly because I'm barely never there, but I was like, when my apartment is ready, I'm going to move out. I wanted to find an apartment. So I gave her the money for 2 weeks, and then just that 1 week.
How much did you give her?
I gave her $300, and then I was just going to give her the rest for the rest of the rest of the 2 weeks or whatever.
Okay, that's not half, though.
No, not half, but
right.
I gave her some of the money, which was, I think it was just like, $50 off? It was supposed to be like $350, yeah. But towards the following other 2 weeks, I was just going to give her the rest of the money for the other 2 weeks, but my job wound up messing up my check, which is not the first time. And it's not a big deal because once I would have got it, I would have gave it to her. It would have never been no problem. But
well, it is a big deal because your rent is $700 and it's due on the 1st. It's not a big deal to you, but it might be a big deal to the recipient of the rent.
It was just the fact that we agreed to pay weekly. It was just the last 2 weeks, so I was just going to give her the rest of the money for just the last 2 weeks, but I wasn't even.
But then when the time came, you also didn't do that.
But I told her, this is the whole point of my
conversation. She still can't lock you out. It's just the point is stop saying, oh, but it was not a problem. Yeah, it is a problem. You didn't pay.
That's what I'm saying, because it happened before, and we've conversated about it, and it had never been a problem.
Apparently this time it was a problem because you guys aren't getting along. So what happens? What happens? You don't have the rent in the middle of the month. You don't have the rent.
But way before then, we got into an altercation about me washing clothes, which some of my boyfriend's stuff was mixed in with mine, which, some of our stuff get mixed in with me sometimes being at his house, and then it'll just wind up in my basket and stuff. So I'll just take it.
So she got mad that you were doing your boyfriend's laundry at the house?
It was my laundry and his together. And then I get a text message, you have the audacity to wash clothes in my house. You didn't pay the rest of it. I'm like,
Can I see those texts? Do you have them in your phone? So what happened that day? You see that she's washing her boyfriend's stuff and?
I said, can you just like move your, because I was still under the impression that I was moving out, so I wanted to clean downstairs. And I said, can you just come and move your stuff to like one area so that I can clean?
Yeah, but what are you going to clean? We were talking about, you put her stuff on October 19th.
Right.
So it's not October 31st yet. So what is it you were going to do down in her living space on the 19th?
Well, I asked her, Your Honor. I didn't tell her. I didn't say, hey, you have to. I said, hey, can you just move your stuff because she wasn't there. Like I hadn't seen her in probably a couple of weeks.
Go on.
So she did. She came and she moved her stuff. And then later on that night, I went downstairs to switch over my laundry from the washer to the dryer. And she had stuff in the washer and the dryer. And there was an error whatever on my dryer, whatever. And so I opened it up, and it was chock full of men's stuff. But
okay,
it wasn't
so
even
you
drying.
do what?
Well, I took the stuff out because there was an error mark.
And then what?
Then I texted her.
And
I
said what?
I said, you know what? I said, you have the audacity to do your boyfriend's laundry in my washer and dryer. You're not even caught up on your rent. And her response was so like, it was, I can wash whatever I want in there. Well,
And?
Well, that was that.
No, that wasn't that, because we're here over a lawsuit because you put her stuff out. I'm waiting for you to get to that part.
Well, I slept on it overnight, and then the next day, so her furniture that we're speaking of was.
So what did you do? Let's talk about what you did. That's what I'm asking.
No, I am.
Yeah. Don't talk to me about how it's not that bad, Judge, because her furniture is
No,
garbage.
no, I'm not.
Tell me what you did, because you're a landlord. And what you did was you took your tenant's stuff, and instead of going to landlord-tenant court, like the rest of us mere mortals have to, which is slow and costly, you just went ahead and took some of her stuff and put it out, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Okay.
You can't do that. What state are you from? New York? It's a misdemeanor here.
So
You hear me?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So what did you do? Let's talk about what you did.
Okay.
What did you do?
So her furniture that she's speaking of was in my garage, so I set it outside of it.
Okay. Where did you set it?
I set it over to the side. There's like a parking space in between my garage and my fence.
Is it outdoors?
Yes.
Is it covered?
No.
Okay. And what was it that you set outside?
It was a love seat, an oversized chair, and an ottoman.
Okay. So here's how the texts go. You don't pay the rent for this week, but have the audacity to not only use my washer dryer, but to use it for someone else's stuff. Next thing you know, later that day, what I just said was at 10 in the morning, and by 2 in the afternoon, you text her, your furniture's outside, you can make arrangements to get the rest of your stuff. That's what we call an illegal lockout, which you're not allowed to do. Do you have a picture of the furniture?
That is a video.
Yeah, I know that's a video. I can barely see it. It is pitch black out there. Let's see if you have a better picture, because the stuff was outside for how long?
Video. It was outside for a couple of days because it rained.
Right, so is there a daytime photo of the stuff so I can see what I'm looking
That's
at?
the only thing. I don't have a daytime photo.
So is this just the same video? You don't have any pictures?
Yeah, that's just the video because my goddaughter made a mistake and deleted some stuff. So
how do you come up with the values of the things that you are?
I have papers from when I got my furniture, the stuff that I paid for, which I was trying to look for the exact receipt, like where it said paid.
Do you have an exact receipt, or don't you?
I don't have the paid ones, but I have the stuff that I paid for, so I have them up there. What is the estimates and stuff like that of what I paid for?
Right, that includes your interest charges.
Yeah, like
right.
everything.
Okay, so let's back up a second. She has no right to put your stuff out. All right, she puts your stuff out. What do? Do you ever pick up your stuff?
It was all ruined by the time I went to get it, so I was like, I told my best friend.
So do you have pictures that show that it was all ruined by the time you went to get it?
That's the pictures that got deleted.
Okay, so you don't have anything to document that it's ruined. What ends up happening then? You just leave it there?
When I went back, it's so ruined.
Do you leave it there?
Yeah, I just left it.
And then what do you do with the stuff?
Can a landlord ever lock a tenant out for not paying rent?
I would say over a certain amount of time, like you have to be out in a month, and if the stuff isn't out.
No. If the tenant's there, can a landlord lock the tenant out if the tenant doesn't pay rent?
No, not unless there's a certain amount of time to get out.
What do you say?
I honestly don't think so, but I mean, if he's given warnings, then yeah, I would agree.
You should rethink that going inside the courtroom.
I left it there until the day before I was supposed to leave.
And then?
It was removed.
It was removed how?
Garbage.
Okay. What was out there?
It's just the love seat, the oversized chair, and the ottoman.
Oh, what is that I'm looking at right there?
That's the love seat with the oversized chair on it and the ottoman in between.
When did you buy this stuff?
I brought it in April.
So you're paying monthly payments.
Not anymore. I paid it all off. And that's the one thing that I was trying to say.
So do you have proof of paying it off?
That's the only thing that I didn't have.
Why is that the only, why is that not important to you to bring in a case where you're the plaintiff?
Because I couldn't find the exact receipts, and I had
What do you mean the receipt? How did you pay it off?
I have a box of papers. I paid the cash. I literally paid the cash out of my pocket.
According to you, she was trying to sell this furniture for $500?
Yes, ma'am. She asked me to put it on a social media selling site, and I couldn't sell it either.
Do you have any proof of that?
No, I don't.
Okay, had you asked her to put it on a social media site?
I originally was going to sell it because at the time, I was just like, you know what?
Let's just get rid of it. And
yeah, I'm like, let's just get rid of it.
So how much were you selling it for?
It was fairly new.
How much were you selling it for?
And I was just gonna, originally I was gonna sell it for $6, but I just said I would sell it for $5 because someone could just take it and use it for if they need it, if they just moved into an apartment.
Did you put her mattress out too?
Yes.
How old was the mattress?
I've had the mattress for about at least a year because I had it when I was in my apartment before the last one that I just moved out.
Yeah.
Your
Okay.
Honor.
So let me, yeah, go ahead.
I have proof here that it didn't rain for 8 days after I put her stuff out. So it was never wet. It was never ruined.
Is there something wrong with you? Do you own a chair? Do you want somebody putting your chair out into the elements?
No, I don't.
Do you want it back in your house
No,
after
but I
it's
do
been
want
in
my
the
car
elements?
in my garage.
Yeah, tough.
Okay.
See, that's what you don't get.
Okay.
Tough for you. You are a landlord. There are benefits and detriments to being a landlord. The benefit is that you get to collect rent and get help with your house and your mortgage or your rent. But the detriment is that you have to follow the law just like the rest of us mere mortals. So when your tenant doesn't pay, you have to go to small claim. You have to file a 3-day notice. Oh, it's a pain. It's a total pain. It's much easier to take all their stuff and put it on the street. But you don't get the right to do that, you see? And in some states, it's an actual crime. Yours is one of those states where it's an actual crime, okay? So no, you don't get to do that and then tell me what a sunny day it was. Jeez. I'm ordering the defendant to pay the plaintiff the sum of $500 for the furniture plus $75 for the mattress for a sum total of $575. Verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff recovers partially the amount she was seeking. You shouldn't have done that.
You're right.
You know? Did you think about that while you're doing it?
No.
Just didn't enter your mind that
No, not
you
really.
were breaking the law?
No.
I guess you're lucky you're getting off as easy as you are. Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that.
You've learned.
Yes, very much.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All righty, here comes Ms. Smith now. You okay with this?
I'm fine with that.
I mean, you're seeking three grand, you know?
And you know what? It's really not about the money. It's the fact that my stuff shouldn't have never been touched.
Everybody agrees.
Yeah, so I'm like, why is my stuff being touched? That's kind of bad of a person that I thought was my friend, so.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah.
All right. Everything okay where you're living now?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're good? Okay.
Everything's great.
Happy? Okay, good.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Harvey?
I will say this, not only is a landlord not allowed to do this, sometimes in some states, locking a tenant out is a crime. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.